Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Medieval Reader. So while I have been exploring Geneva, I have been visiting the libraries, the research libraries, as well as the public libraries. And the largest and the major public library in Geneva is the Bibliothèque de la Cité, which literally means the library of the city. And this is a really spectacular library. It has something like 6 floors, and the ground floor, which is not the first floor, so in France and in Switzerland and maybe elsewhere in Europe, the ground floor is 0. It's the rez-de-chaussée as it's called, and then the first floor is what in the United States is considered the second floor. So on the ground floor you have nonfiction, then you have the first floor, which is fiction, second floor, which has science and animals and, other nonfiction. And on the fiction floor, which again is the first floor, also known as the second floor when you think about it in the American sense, one wing is dedicated to graphic novels. And I have never seen that many graphic novels and comics in one room. There are hundreds of albums, as they are called in French, and it's just so incredible. I'm not a graphic novel person, at least I haven't been a graphic novel person, but now I think I really want to get into reading these. The French are famous for their bande dessinée, as they're called, the graphic novels, and I really want to read the most famous ones, but also just kind of see what interests me and pick them up. They don't take very long to read, and the one that I read today really blew my mind. Now this is one that has been translated into English and has been talked about on BookTube. So the graphic novel is Blue is the Warmest Color by Julie Marot, or Julie Moreau. The French title is Le bleu est une couleur chaude, which means blue is a warm color. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Not blue is the warmest color, but blue is a warm color. So there will be some spoilers in this discussion because this book has been so popular on BookTube. I want to just talk about my impressions of reading this graphic novel in the original language and kind of have a discussion about some of the major themes. Different pages have different color schemes. The art, the drawing is the same, but some of the pages have no color, some have a little bit of color, blue in particular, and some are completely in color. So a little bit about the beginning. In the beginning of the story, our protagonist, Clémentine, we learn has committed suicide, and she has left behind a journal to her girlfriend, Emma. And so it's quite a tragic story. And when we are reading from the journal, so when we are experiencing Clémentine's life through her journals, along with Emma, who is reading them, those pages are in black and white. In the scenes where we are supposed to kind of think of ourselves as being in the place of Clémentine, so in the scenes where Clémentine is in a relationship with Emma, there is a little bit of blue, and the blue is Emma's hair. So Emma has blue hair, and so most of it is black and white with a little bit of blue. And then any of the scenes that are in the present, so in the aftermath of the suicide, those are in full color. And I just think that that is such a clever way of showing time and perspective. I found that to be very interesting and really helped me understand where we were in the story. Because the author doesn't necessarily indicate, oh, now we're talking about the journal. Now we're talking about, the relationship in the moment. Now we're talking about, what happened afterward. Instead of signaling it with words, the artist signals it with color or the lack of color. And I thought that was just an interesting choice. Black and white was also a really good choice to use for the journals because unfortunately a life has been extinguished. So, there's no color. There's this lack of color. When she's in the relationship, the blue hair color represents the passion, but also the sorrow that our protagonist Clémentine experiences. I really loved the intersectionality of this work and the focus on bisexual identity. Even though the term bisexual isn't used, it's very clear that this is what is being discussed. Whereas, usually with books about homophobia, it's explored almost exclusively from the perspective of heterosexual people. They're the ones who are being homophobic. You see the lesbian and very sexually open characters also contributing to our protagonist's suffering because, she's either being seen as someone who lacks commitment, so Emma accuses her of lacking commitment, or you have Thomas, who is Clémentine's first boyfriend, who, we don't really ever hear from again, but there is, that history is what other people will judge her on. Like, oh, you dated a boy, so you can't really be interested in Emma. And then, of course, there's Valentin, who is her very sexually open friend, but you can also tell that he doesn't understand the struggles that Clémentine has, having homophobic parents, and also feeling like Emma doesn't really trust her. The problem is that Emma is also in a relationship with another woman, so she has a girlfriend, and she has not, she's at the same time also seeing Clémentine, and actually they're having a sexual relationship. So, Clémentine wants Emma to care about her, and she feels like, no, for Emma, Clémentine is just, someone who can be used at will, and is some, that Clémentine doesn't really love Emma. And so trying to convince people that her relationship with Emma isn't any less serious just because she's bisexual, like, that is a huge theme in this graphic novel, and I really, really appreciated that. The writing was very fluid. I often find myself challenged by the juxtaposition of words and pictures, but in this graphic novel I felt like it just went very smoothly, and I read it in one sitting. So yeah, Blue is the Warmest Color was an excellent graphic novel. I hope to read other things by the author. I don't know if she has other works out, but I'm really excited to just read other graphic novels, and I'll talk to you about them as I learn more and more about, what's out there. Let me know your thoughts about this book, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.